Ooh, all right. I'm right here. Okay, thank you for joining me. My name is Shaquab Ben Israel. Welcome to my channel. Hey, Elijah. Peace, love, and light to you, brother. Thank you for joining me, bro. Thank you. Welcome to my channel. My name is Shaquab Ben Israel, and I want to give thanks to Heavenly Mother, the Heavenly Father, Mother, for giving me this opportunity to try to be a light while I'm in this reality, which means that I just, I believe in the Creator. I believe that He is able to tell us what the His will for our life. I think He gives us a reality to live in so that we can look at it and learn a lesson. We can gauge ourselves by the things that we see. We can see people who make mistakes. We can see people who they deal righteously, and we can see the fruit that both of them bear. I perceive that you, brethren, whoever can subscribe to this type of a channel, is because you just believe, you just minded to believe in the Creator. You know this is not all there is. Simple as that. You just know that this is not all that there is. And I know it seems like it's like never really a good time to be talking about things of eternity and spirituality and, trying to prepare for what we all know is, that's not a really popular subject. And I dig it. I get it, man. You talk to people, it's like we live in a type of, for me, it's a constant sort of amazement how how distracted that we live in a reality where the dedication that people have to the earth, it just never fails. I hate to be redundant, man, but it just never fails me. I just don't know why, but I can't get over the dedication. I can't get over the dedication to temporary things. I'm trying to fix my screen here. That's why the Creator, He's like a constant source of amazement to me, because everybody will admit, at least a lot of people will admit, they have faith, and you know what I mean? They will say that the most important thing in life to them is, they'll say like family. God will fall in there somewhere, is what I'm trying to say. He'll fall in there somewhere up on the list. And I think, the other day I had a thought. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scroll the screen. A lot of people hold today as the Sabbath. I hold a different day. So I used to do the angels do the Sabbath based on the Friday, Saturday Sabbath. But since I came into the OAHSPE, I found out that the Sabbath, I subscribe to the Sabbath being Sunday, Monday, because of the, when you count from the new year, which is the first new moon and the new month, and not to get all into it, but I used to do the angels based on Friday, Saturday, and I stopped because people, they may have different days that they keep Sabbath, and so I decided to just scroll the angels of the daytime, angels of the evening, and then you can decide what day we are on, and that's the angel for you. But really it don't matter, because I just scroll this thing so you could get familiar with the angels and who to give thanks to, and redeem the time. We keep reading in the OAHSPE where your thoughts make up your spirit. Your thoughts make up your spirit. If you train your mind, and we got to train our mind to turn away, because see, we live in the beast kingdom. The Creator, He calls religions the beast kingdom. The different religions: Christianity, Catholicism, Mohammedanism. You see, there's a way to mute the mic when I got a cough. Let me see. Okay. The OAHSPE, it says that we live in the beast kingdom. It calls religion the beast because they devour men. They deceive people. And it's also got beast-like characteristics, and a lot of it has to do with the glorifying the animal kingdom, the way we glorify the animal kingdom. And a lot of it is based on like sports. It's based on like sports, because if you look at the names of the sports teams, like the Cincinnati Bengals, a tiger, the Detroit Lions, you know what I mean, the Atlanta Falcons. These are all carnivorous birds of prey, or animals of prey. They're carnivorous, man. They eat flesh. And that vibration rubs off on the world. It teaches people to conquer your brother. It puts a vibration on people. It teaches people to dominate one another. People show respect for whoever's on top. That's not the Creator's kingdom, man. It's going to be a lot of disappointed people. That's not the Creator's kingdom, man. It may be entertaining, but you're not going to. Now, the OAHSPE, it does talk about games, and the Creator said He uses that as a distraction for what type of people are they? I think it's the Uzians, people who have no desire for the spiritual realities. He said that He told His Ashars at one point to distract Uzians by giving them games. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like they were vexing IHENs, the faithists, so bad at one point that the Creator said give them a distraction, and they gave them games, and it mentioned something else. And matter of fact, you know what? I could have. While it's scrolling, I ain't gonna try to start dancing. I wanted to show you the verse where it says that the Creator, He tells the Ashars and the ASAPs, the receivers of the body when people die. He said, in order to stop, to deal with the vexation that the faithists were dealing with, give them games. Give the world games so they can be distracted, so they could lessen the affliction on the faithists, on His people. And you look at nowadays, it's a big distraction, man. Big distraction. And the vibration that comes off of professional sports or any type of sports, where it really is from the top down, where the vibration spreads, and you got guys walking around, always looking to chump somebody off because they want to be the baddest man on the planet, and that type of vibration spreads. You got guys looking up to who's been to jail, who's been to prison the most longest, and and they glorify the world. Our world, they glorify that stuff, and it even rubs off on our women. I mean, it's like I see guys joke about, she she don't want a dude with a job. She want a dude who's on death row. Now I'm laughing and I'm making fun, but actually there's some truth in that, where it's like, and I've seen it growing up, the decisions that girls make, the type of guy that they value, and the one who's you know what I mean? I don't have to elaborate, but there's a vibration where it's really glorying yourself. We live in a world, it teaches you to glorify yourself. It even rubs off on worship. We got different churches. They go here, and then you go to that church over there. And everywhere you look, man, we getting taught to be divided. But the thing with the faith is, man, the Creator, He takes away color. He takes away hatred. And then He condemns the beast kingdom that we're under. He says, okay, you say you got faith. Where are your cities then? Where is your kingdom? Okay, you got faith. Where's the proof? There's a scripture in the Bible where it says, do men gather grapes from thorns, or figs from thistles? Meaning, if you're the type of brother or sister who is liable to make somebody bleed when they come to you to know what the truth is, and you end up, but they don't come near you because they think they're going to get cut. Now, that was in the Bible, that verse I just quoted. But I that's one thing I think is true that the Bible says, is that your behavior, people, they pick up on that. Either they going to want to draw near to you, or if they see that you're going to harm them, you're going to cut them some type of way. You're going to insult them. You're going to make them feel less, then they won't come near you. They won't come to gather your fruit, is what the Bible was saying. I believe that verse has some wisdom in it. But we're in the beast kingdom, man, where whoever's on top, that's that's how you get respected in this reality. But the Creator, it's a terrible thing, man, because you can't approach Him like that. You cannot approach the Creator bragging, boasting, It's just no way. And I believe the world, they subconsciously know that, but we've fallen so far, we can't get up. We've fallen and we can't get up. We got the OAHSPE now. The Creator is showing us. He's showing us a new wisdom. It's a new wisdom, man, meant for you faithists. And you gotta love it, man, because if you ask me, I think these are words of life. And I say that from experience. It seems like every time, I don't know, maybe it's the same for you, but every time I go out in public, man, it seems like the Creator make me talk to somebody. About life, if you were with me and I took you outside with me, just going to the store or something, He will send someone, and I know what He's doing. And it's the same for you, brethren, man. You got the words of life. You got the words of life, man. You got the words of life. And I don't think that, I tend to think, that I don't know if people really appreciate that a lot. I wonder if you, brother, if you really appreciate what you got, man. You got something. And I'm telling you, man, talking to people, for me, it's a big kick unless I see they not listening. Because like that verse that the sister brought out the other day, Ezekiel, it's like if you talk about all the good things and the nature, the character of the Creator, and people love that because the way they internalize it. A lot of people, they be listening to you talk, and then they hear you talking about the Creator, he don't never give up on you, man. He ain't gonna give up. There's nothing. He created you. He calls you his child, his children, and there ain't even the worst parent in this reality will not give up on their children. So what make you think that the Creator? You know what I mean? Well, how can you possibly get it in your mind that the Creator gonna forsake you? He created you, and he said that's the story that we're reading. Are we the story of Ahura, the God who ended up rebelling? He ended up defecting from Jehovah, and Jehovah Creator. He's at one point he told a sub god who wanted to get back to the kingdom, the sub god under Ahura. He wanted to defect back to the faithless kingdom. And that God told him, "Look, man, you ain't got no kingdom to give me. You got it wrong. You asked for those people that you now rule over. You asked for them. Jehovah gave them to you. So don't think that you can bargain them away. You just gonna bargain them away. With the Creator, it's like once you get in the boat with him, man, that's it. You're gonna stay. You both are. You're chained together. That's the way Jehovah look at it. He say you have now linked up, man, and there ain't no way out of this situation. Not that you should want a way out of the situation. That's what part of the reason. That's part of the moral of the story. These different stories in the OAHSPE. It's different from the Bible where, go and slay them, man, woman, and child, spare not, bash his head open, killing animals on the snowy, it's amazing the Creator. He let us go all this long believing in the Bible and the murder and destruction of the Bible. And I can't speak for nobody, but a lot of people, that's why they get turned off to it. But me, it deceived me. So for the OAHSPE to come around, and you just, you start reading it, man, and Creator, the logic is just so unbeatable, man, about what he's all about. And if he was that type of God, man, it wouldn't nobody, even the scripture, it's going backwards now. It says, even the scripture says, if and I'm saying it's talking about the Creator, although it says a God. If the Creator were to mark sin, who could stand? Could none of us make it, man, Who could that tell you right there that we got a problem here with the Bible? We got a problem, man. So long story, the world, they talk a lot about faith, and it's like Creator, he tests you. Christianity, as far as the Western Hemisphere goes, faith, works, love. They drill it into your head. So it's like the Creator say, I know you don't mean what you say, so I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you. I'm going to see if your words match, if your words really match your desires. If I'm going to see if your words match your belief. I got to wait. See, that's the thing I'm saying right there, man. It's like, he got a way. You say things before the Creator. He got ways of testing you. So we've been hearing all this time about faith and, faith and he who believes, and without faith it is impossible to please him, and and it's easy to say it, but when the Creator bring along a new revelation, you'd be surprised how many. We live in a world of people who can't hear the Creator, can't hear him. I'm talking about people who subscribe to the Bible. I'm talking about Christianity. They can't hear him. They can't hear him. They think that ain't nothing supposed to change. Everything's supposed to stay the same, even though the Creator says, why don't you just look at the earth, man? Does a child stay 3 years old? Do not people grow, you know? Do they not evolve? Can't you learn from the physical things of the spiritual? You know what I mean? But with human nature, man, can't break them. You know, tradition, normalcy bias, and people don't learn till it's too late that Creator, he's it seems like he constantly tugging on people's spirit to turn. But I don't know, man. It's like we read one passage where the Creator, he said that he was talking about the mystery of unbelief, and he said that there was one man, and it was talking about the man, the prenatal man, the preborn, the unborn man or woman, as in before they are incarnate. How they what did it say? The OAHSPE was saying that the conversion, it takes place even before you're born. Even before you're born. And it sounds like all it has to do is with your mind. It's like the Creator said that one man, he looks at something, he comes to faith, he just receives it. And another man, he sees everything with suspicion. Everything is suspect in his eyes, so that, you know, everything is viewed as suspiciously, so that he cannot receive things, spiritual things, like it talked about. Man, I have to digress. It's like you show one guy. It's really like the half empty, half full analogy. People's perspective. Unless you change your perspective, you know. I think there's a story in the OAHSPE where a sub-god or a god, he was having trouble coming to faith. Or was it a god, or who was it? It's somewhere in the OAHSPE where it gives an account of, maybe it was just a man and a king, an earthly king, I think. And he basically was talking to Zarathustra, I think. He was talking to Zarathustra. Now, Zarathustra is the real live manifestation of Jesus Christ. He was the inspiration for Jesus Christ. And so the king said, okay, I used to have a toy when I was younger. If you get it and tell me what it was, I'll believe you. So Zarathustra, he went and got it. And then the king said, I don't believe you. Maybe somebody from my childhood said, this is the type of toy that he liked. Here it is right here. So go back and give it to him and he'll believe you. And so the king said, now, he gave Zarathustra something else to do, and then he said he would believe. And there was a God there all the time saying to the king, look, man, it don't matter what you tell Zarathustra to do, you ain't going to believe him. Because your mind is set. You got to change your mind. You're going to always be suspect, man. You know, you're going to tell him to do this, he's going to do it. You're going to tell him to do that, he's going to do it. He can prove to you left and right, man, all day long, every day of the week, that he has spiritual power and is meant for, all you got to do is receive it instead of coming up with these suspicions. Just receive it. How is it that you satisfied not knowing anything, questioning everything, even when it's proven to you that I mean, it just don't make no sense. So Creator, it's like, okay, you say you have faith, you talk a lot about faith, but when I give you a new word, are you going to be able to hear it? Are you going to be able to receive it? Or are you going to, you talk all about faith, man, having faith. And it got to the point where it didn't really mean anything. It's like the word love in this not for everybody, but it's like lost its power, the word, because it gets used so much. When the Creator, he say like, okay, you have faith, right? You got faith? All right. I'm going to go ahead and give you this new revelation. I'm going to give you this new revelation, and you should be able to hear it. If you have faith, it means you're familiar with the way I operate. You should be able to hear my voice. Know that it's me, because he can say things that it have to be the Creator that's talking about. I mean, when he's talking all about you, telling you what you're like on the inside, at some point, man, you got to break, All right, I'm way past the angels here. Let me go ahead and do the ministries, the ministry that I like to share with brethren. Try to share as I study, like to share it. I know that you read things from the Creator. It bless your soul. Bless your soul, man. Bake this. Tell us what we need to hear. So here's the ministry where I like to reach out to, if brethren who have orphans or disabled or elderly, and they maybe have food insecurity. I can certainly be contacted, man. Certainly. So there's the information right there. Here's my room. Here's some verses that I share with brethren. I love to share. I love it. The only thing that breaks my heart is the lack of response. That's the only thing. I mean, really, I don't want to take the attitude, well, I don't care, whatever they, It's hard for me to take that attitude. How come there's so little response? This is the Creator's word, ain't it? But it seems like slowly but surely the Creator, he's just giving me the mind. Look, don't worry about them. Don't worry about. You really can't do this. Walk this walk if you keep looking for people's approval. If you try to do that, you're going to really hurt yourself. You're going to hurt yourself. Don't look for crowds. Don't look for recognition. Don't look for it. Just keep running. You just run and pray that you might reach one or two people. And it seems like that's constant vibration. And I say that so that if someone is listening and you do ministry too, we have been called to a serious deal, man. A serious deal. When Creator, he says that he wants you to open your mouth and to share this word. And he uses the least of us. Use the least of us to share the light. So here's something I posted the other day. It says, Jehovah had said, what I give that grows the corporal, the physical, the carnal, the fleshly. What I give that grows the corporal inspires man the corporal, carnality, fleshly. What I give that grows the ES, which is spirit, inspires the spirit. So he's saying you got to work it. If you realize you have a spirit and you want to search for the Creator, you got to work it, and then that will grow. But if you, in other words, you're going to gravitate to what you are. If you are, when you're given to learning, and you're going to elevate. But when you're given to worldly pursuits, then you more than likely not going to, you're going to have trouble elevating, because spiritually means drawing near, learning about the Creator, reading the light of His Word, being willing, having a desire to share it with brethren, and to help brethren to see the things that you're seeing that bless your soul. Really no greater work than that. So this verse here is saying that whatever you sow to, that's what you're going to reap, whether it's corporal, which is physical, or spiritual, which is ES. The more you give yourself to one thing, then the more the more that you become part of what it is that whatever you're sowing to. It says, in the days of AG, neither angels nor men can enthuse mortals with spiritual things. Only those who are organically grown in spirit can withstand the AG. Now, I was asking somebody in the room to help me to know what this is, and then the sister, she said density. Here's the sister. She's a PhD, so she's heavy into, spirituality. And it was early in the morning, and I was wondering what she was still doing up. And then I asked her to break it down. She said that it was AG, this word right here. The OAHSPE uses that word. The OAHSPE uses that word, and the sister said the definition of it was the opposite of eat. So it's like AG is death and eat is life. A period of time that comes on the world. It's like you're walking down the road, and then it's sunshiny, and then you go a half a mile more, and all of a sudden it's dark. It's like it turns dark all of a sudden. Like a section of the road where, all of a sudden it's just real dark and foggy and stuff. And then the Creator is saying that there's it's that way in the spiritual too. It's like He sends what He calls an AG, AJI. And I wanted an even clearer definition of that word. I wanted something that was even clearer. And when you know it, I found something. It's just like always, I ask a question and I get it nearly instantly almost. So after I asked the sister, and she said, well, she was correct too. It's the opposite of eat. Eat is the opposite. She said AG was eat, which is like rarefied air, ether. And then sure enough, man, I found something else talking about AG that really cleared it up for me. AG. And it says, when AG comes, I found this in the OAHSPE. It says, when AG comes upon the earth, the Drujas come also. Now, basically it's darkness. It says it right here. The days of darkness of earth are their delight. So AG is days of darkness. Days of darkness. AG. Days of darkness. What did you say, Elijah? Creator's truth will be revealed across the world no matter what. Absolutely. Yeah, you ain't really got no choice in this thing, man. Either, you're going to subscribe to the Creator or you're not. It's just no other way, man. Either you're going to subscribe to the Creator at some point, man, because He's going to leave you to yourself. You're going to get tired of yourself. Funny you say that, bro. I was reading, and it was talking about the sub-gods of Ahura. I might even end up covering it. The sub-gods, people who were worshiping Ahura, the false god. And then they crossed over, and then the sub-gods were snatching them to make them serve the sub-gods. And I perceive that's very, very true. That's spiritual truth about what happens in this reality. The God that you subscribe to, His thing is to make a slave out of you. See, we live in this situation where we think that all's well ends well. But the Creator, He said that people who cross over and they under a certain spirit mindset, they may not even know that there's something higher than where they go to. They may not even know. Meaning, you could be stuck, not knowing of a higher elevation. And the Creator, he said that, matter of fact, it says it right here. I got this, let me just read it. Look what it says. It says, when AG, that's times of darkness, it says, when they, hey, Asenap, all right, good to see you, sis. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, it says, when AG comes upon the earth, and I'm just, when I, some words I translate them so I can understand them easier, so I'll just say darkness. When AG comes upon the earth, the Drujas come also. The days of darkness of earth are their delight. Their harvest is the rich falling AG. The rich falling AG are their delight. The harvest is in the rich falling AG. It suits their laziness and their inclination to bask about. AG. See, Asenet says, I almost thought you weren't going live today. Why would you think that? Why would you think that? If I'm not live when I'm supposed to be, then more likely I'm in the hospital. Or something is going down with me when I'm not live. When I'm not, every now and then I may take a day off, If for a couple of days I'm gone, something's up. Wednesday is the day that I don't go live. Wednesday, because I'm in Bible study. So the schedule is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and no weekends. Just Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. The Bible studies on Wednesday. So, anyway, he says, when AG comes upon the earth, the Drujas come also. The days of the darkness of earth are their delight. Their harvest is in the rich falling AG. It suits their laziness and their inclination to bask about. In those days, they become like overfed animals. And in their masters, the false gods, they become worthless, for they derive the sustenance without labor. AG is their delight, but they are also like a foolish man drinking wine with delight, who continues until his delight turns to madness. Till his delight turns to madness. So the Drujas feast and disobey their masters, and then they become boisterous and unruly, full of disorder and evil intent, defiant, believing themselves to be gods and goddesses, like a beggar with a pocket full of money who lacks discipline and is determined to glut his passions to the full. So it is with the Drujas in the time of AG. So, if I'm not mistaken, time of darkness, a density, a thick darkness on the world, on the land. And we got to be in something like that, because life, it don't mean nothing. The Creator has got to, we in the cosmic era, and I think that He's allowing the worst before the best to come out. Because I can't see how we could be much worse than what we are, when you can just take people's homes. You can just take people's homes away. Walk up to them and tell them, we got the power, so you got to get out. And to be able to kill people, like it, just bomb people, like it ain't nothing. We got to be, our spiritual grade, it's got to be somewhere like maybe 10. AG has got, wouldn't you agree that we have got to have an AG that's going on in the earth? There's a darkness in the world, man. There is a darkness. And the Creator says that if you leave, like people who like are religious and they worship a man-made God, and the Creator said that you won't be able to get it's like you're going to be in a maze where you can't get out of it because you don't have no understanding. You didn't know that there was something higher. The captives of the beast kingdom, they simply do not know there is a higher elevation, a higher heaven. The false gods, their only desire is to keep their subjects locked up. Keep them locked up, man. That's how some spirits are. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, you already know. You see videos of men, they take women and hold them captive. I saw one just the other day. I mean, you hate to even talk about those things, but it's telling you that these things, this is the nature of man. That's the way he will do his fellow man. And so it's like the Creator, he letting us see these things, and hopefully they become a lesson and help us to endure this thing. So anyway, time of AG here, what I was reading, it's time of darkness, and the Druids love it. They hang out and feast on people and do nothing, and they love it when times of darkness like what we're in right now come. The Creator said that the only ones who be able to make it through are faithists, able to deal with it, come through it, bearing fruit. I could be wrong, but I think that's what I recall reading. So here's, let me see. Another verse. I've never even seen this screen before. This thing's a trip. Why is it giving me the screen I've never even seen before? Now I gotta look at my screen to make sure it's the right one. And nobody even told me I wasn't sharing none of this stuff. Good night, man. Oh, when is it gonna end? When is it gonna end, Yaiqua? When you gonna learn? When are you gonna learn, bro? When are you gonna learn to share the screen? Gracious, I was doing all of that. Oh man. Anyway, here's what I was reading. I was reading this right here. This is weird. Having computer problems now. Must be everybody getting home and getting on a computer now. This thing is really fighting me now. Trying to scroll it down won't let me do anything. Alright, let's see. Wow, this... Alright, this is what I was reading right here. Or... No, that wasn't it. Oh, okay, here it is. I was reading this right here. Talking about AG. And I was given I was reading this part right here. Where it was basically saying that it's a time of darkness. AG is like a time of darkness. So I gotta get out of this thing. Is killing me, man. It just don't want to play. It just don't want to act right. My computer's acting all crazy. Okay, so here's another verse. It says, "Behold, a man makes a factory and turns out fabric for sale. Creator says, I make a college and turn out sons and daughters of Jehovah to give away. Bring me that material which will stand in warp and filling. Jehovah's fabric shall endure forever. Search out the seed of Ihan and those and house them with care. Ihans are faithless brethren who can believe in the Creator. It says, for they shall redeem the earth. They shall redeem the earthborn after I send to the Father's kingdom. So this is the middle of a dialogue, but the point that that I wanted to bring out posting this thing is the Creator. He says, I make a college and turn out sons and daughters. And basically, that's where we are right now, is what he's saying. We're in college, and a lot of people drop out of college. Another verse, it says, pursue the earth, O my beloved, bring away all light. Pursue the lower heaven of the earth, also bring away all light. I will leave the earth and heaven in darkness 1 whole year. They shall cry out. Their conceit in the dumb wind shall fail. So just talking about, now if this is prophetical, meaning something that's going to come to pass in our day, he's saying that he's going to leave the earth. This is a God who is talking here, saying that there's a time coming where the light of Jehovah will not be here. If this is prophetical, if this is a prophecy, and it very well could be that the Creator allows the light of this word to be removed from the earth. And then when it says they shall cry out their conceit in the dumb wind, and basically what it means is people are going to start appreciating the creation, the word. See, sometimes that's why I know I read in, I can't remember which book it was, but you can't learn nothing in the lap of luxury. Brethren, you will not learn. And if we're in a time of this is the beginning stages, is what I like to say about the cosmic era. The change of our situation, where we're going to start learning the truth, that's going to start spreading, and brethren are going to come into the light of His word. But we see that it's slow going. It's hard to get brethren together, for us to get together and be a lively bunch of brethren. It's like we're like a sluggish type of people, from what I can see. But the Creator, He says that it's His school of learning for us. And I can see it. You know, in order to create a pearl, it needs constant friction. Isn't that what how the saying goes? It needs constant friction. So here was the footnote for this verse right here. It says, people believing in the dumb wind, where it says right here, their conceit in the dumb wind shall fail. Here's the meaning right here. That is, their belief, there is only the impersonal elements and nothing else shall fail. People are going to believe in the Creator. If He removes that light for a whole year, He's saying that's going to do the trick. Where people, once they will come to themselves, and they will be able to receive the witness of the Creator. This fabric he talks about, this fabric for his factory, he says, bring me that material which will stand, which will be able to endure. Bring me that material which will stand. Talking about you, brother. Which will be able to endure the time that we're in. This verse says, "Bless Jehovah, he made hunger, so men love bread. Without hunger, they would not eat." A wise God drives home to man's understanding his helplessness in spirit when Jehovah is denied. This verse says, "It is better to labor with a child." Okay, so I covered this yesterday, but I'll read it again. Then I'm going to go to the reading. It says, "It is better to labor with a child from infancy and then to maturity to teach it rightly." It's better to labor with a child from infancy, and then to maturity teach it rightly, than strive with a score of conceited adults who fail to redeem one, and fail to redeem even one. Who are the mockers of charity more than they who give to those who can help themselves but will not? Wisdom and uprightness of heart are like bread. Do not preach to unwelcome ears, or sermons of wisdom. It says, "Are sermons of wisdom to be forced into men's souls?" So we don't have to force his word on anybody. Creator, he don't want it. Don't force it. They want it, let them ask. We give it to them, the overstanding on the big issues. So anyway, that's from Rome there. Let me see. My sister didn't give me anything metaphysically to share, so I guess I can go ahead and do the reading now. Now, we left off where Brother Ahura, he defected, wanted his own kingdom, and let me see if yeah, here it is right here. So let me increase that. Now, where we left off in the last video, we got Brother Ahura here. He defected, got his own kingdom going. Now his sub-gods, those under him, they're realizing that he's just in it for himself. He don't want it. He's not interested in giving them their own kingdom, which is why they defected with him. And Jehovah, he sent gods to try to turn him back. He wouldn't get turned back. So Jehovah said, just leave him alone. Let him go. I'm going to use him anyway. And he's going to get turned back. But it's going to be painful. Basically is what Jehovah what he said about Ahura. And so now we're picking it up where Ahura, the rebellion is starting. And the sub-gods they're rebelling and they're ready to defect. So let me pick up in verse 11. It says, "But until that time," now let me see if I can get the context. Alright, so the Creator is talking to his faithful gods. He says, "Behold, it is still 100, and may the Heavenly Father bless the reading of his word." It says, "Behold, it is still 180 years till dawn of Dan, time of enlightenment. In that time, Sepenti Armage, goddess of Hail Sati, situated in the Nirvanian fields of Chingotha, will come in the Father's name and with wisdom and power." It says, "But until that time, alas, great darkness will be in heaven and earth, especially in these regions. And it shall come to pass that the mongrels, the worshippers of Ahura Mazda, will triumph in these lands." You could say that's talking about America right now. Mongrels. Hold on a second. I got a glare on my screen. I had to close the blind. Okay, that's a lot better. It says, "They will build great cities and kingdoms, the mongrels. They will rule over the Ahuans to great injury. But the Drooks will be redeemed to everlasting life during this period, for the mongrels will wed with them, and their progeny will be capable of receiving light, even in mortality. So the mongrels are a byproduct of the let me see. I think they're a byproduct of the Faithist wedding the Iahuans, if I'm not mistaken. They're a byproduct of Faithists and they're called Iahuans, which are a mixture of believers, unbelievers. And so are the Druks. I believe the Druks are too. Druks are the same as, really, I don't know why they're using two words here for the same type of people. But the Druks will be redeemed to everlasting life during this period. Now, I think the mongrels, the difference may be that they could not, I don't think they could procreate. I could be wrong, though. Now, the Druks could procreate. At one point, they couldn't. At one point, from what I understand, the Druks, they weren't able to inherit eternal life either, the Druks. But that changed, and the Creator, He allowed it because of intermarriage. It said, but the Druks will be redeemed to everlasting life during this period, for the mongrels will wed with them, and their progeny will be capable of receiving light, even in mortality. Okay, I get it. So, the mongrels were a byproduct of the Iahuans and the Iahuans, called the Iahuans, and their progeny was the Druks. Nevertheless, these mongrels will be great savages, and there will be cannibals all over all these great lands. And those who are slain in battle will be cut up and put in vessels with salt, and thus their flesh will be preserved for food. Now, I don't understand that. It says, but because the Iahuans, the Zarathustrians, so these are the Faithists, the righteous. It says, but because of the Iahuans, the Zarathustrians will not war. So the Zarathustrians come after the Iahuans. Zarathustra, he's the inspiration for Jesus Christ, but this is the real Jesus Christ, Zarathustra. It says the Zarathustrians will not war, the mongrels will enslave them, except for those who escape to the forest. And between celibacy and torments, the Zarathustrians will have great suffering and bondage, and many of them will be discouraged and lose faith in the Creator. But in order for their seed to be preserved and delivered out of bondage, you shall raise up many who are capable of suis, being able to see what can't be, what's not seen, hear what's not heard. And in time of dawn, they shall be rescued from their enemies. Behold, present. It says, behold, present here are Etherean Lewis, the Lewis are, they arrange marriages to raise up Faithists. The Lewis, they arrange people to get together to raise up spiritual children. The Lewis, they're called the Lewis. The Lewis, they're from Etheria. That's the high raised heavenly realm. And they will go with you throughout these lands and survey the people, and also provide for the great lights who shall lead the people. After Yima thus instructed the Ashars in a general way, he handed them over to the Lewis, who divided them into companies of thousands, and each and every Lewis had one company of Ashars, and when this was completed, they departed out of Horeb, going into their various places. So the Lewis designated Ashars and companies to different spirits, and then they take off, the Lewis. They leave the Ashars, and they leave the kingdom that's been set up to restore the people that Ahura took, to bring them back. So the Ashars, they go and they departed out of Horeb, going to their various places. It says, and 11 days after that, behold, Ag began to fall on heaven and earth. Tough times beginning to fall. It says the belt of meteorites gave up its stones and showers of them. showers of them rained down on the earth, and the sun became like a red ball of fire, and it remained so for 160 years. And the peoples of Arabia, Bennu, and Japhet, China, India, Africa, they fell from holiness. So a time of AG is now falling in Horus kingdom, time of darkness. And the Creator, he talks about the meteors, how they signal events. And before, in the Cosmic era, he did the same thing. You can Google it, where there was, like, in the 1800s, a meteor shower that it was a big event. The Creator, he said that he was going to signal the arrival of the Cosmic era with a meteor shower. He's doing the same thing here where we're reading, and he says he did it again in the 1800s. And it was right around the time that the OAHSPE was published. If you Google it, you'll see it. There was a meteor shower, a very great event to signal something new that the Creator was doing. It says, the Zarathustrians gave up celibacy by hundreds of thousands and married and begot children in great numbers. Many women giving birth to 20 and some even 25 children. And some men were fathers of 70 children, and not a few even of 100. And the Zarathustrians, oh my God, I didn't share it. You gotta be kidding me. Gotta be kidding me, man. You mean I didn't share this tab and I'm reading from it? Again? No, I might not even be heard. Clock is not moving, I don't think. Can anybody hear me? Type 1 if you can hear me. Can anybody hear me? I think my computer is... My computer is letting me down. Can anybody hear me? Type 1 if anybody's in the room. Type 1. Oh, you can hear me, Ace Nav? I don't know why it's giving me so many problems now. Thanks, Ace Nav. Wouldn't let me share the screen or anything. Thanks, Elijah. Man, this is a weird day today. This is really doing a good job of fighting me. I'm trying to situate the screen so I can man, StreamYard, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. Okay, so alright, it says, but in order for their seed to be preserved and delivered out of bondage, you shall raise up many who are... No, wait a minute. That's not even what I was reading. Now I lost my place. Okay, here we go. So great was the power of AG that even the Ihens broke their vows and lived clandestinely with the world's people, begetting offspring in great numbers, not eligible. Oh, thanks, Chuck. Thanks. And lived clandestinely with the world's people, begetting offspring in great numbers, not eligible to enter their sacred cities. Yet mortals did not see the AG, but saw their cities and temples sinking, as it were, into the ground. Yet in truth they were not sinking, but covered by the AG, falling and condensing. Jehovah said, what I give that grows the corporal inspires man the corporal. What I give that grows the spirit inspires man the spirit. This is what I shared in the room. And in the days of AG, neither angels nor men can enthuse mortals with spiritual things. Only those who are organically grown in spirit can withstand the AG. So when that AG falls, man, the only ones who can withstand that and not decline, a good word for decreasing in spirit. He's saying that only the organically grown in spirit, certain brethren who can resist the temptation to endure the tough times that come. So here we're reading that even a lot of faithists, the Ihens, they couldn't be celibate. the time the Creator, he allowed this darkness to fall. He does it for his own purposes, so that men will hopefully repent and learn and elevate in their spirit. And it's such a trying time that the Ihans who had taken vows of celibacy, they stopped doing it. And so here the Creator, he says that only organically grown in spirit can withstand the aging. It's like organically meaning without mixture. You brethren who do not mix spirit and world, spirit and flesh. I mean, it sounds oxymoronic, but basically I think he's telling us that our devotion, if we are devoted, like we come out of Christianity, a lot of us, where Christianity is really one foot in the world, one foot in the kingdom. And Creator is saying, when he sends a time of darkness, you can't hang, man, if you have that spirit on you. You have to be 100% one way. I was listening to Brother Judah, Prince Judah today, on his video, and he was covering the spiritual elevation of a brother or sister. If you're beneath 50%, that means that you are inclined to, if you're below 50%, meaning you primarily are about serving yourself, and then you wouldn't be able to you wouldn't be able to handle, how can I say it? You wouldn't be able to handle the second resurrection. If you are anything under 50% in your spiritual elevation, then you're inclined you're inclined to go downward instead of upward. If you're over 50%, it means you're inclined to be spiritual, to build your faith. You're inclined to build rather than tear down. And then we read here in the OAHSPE where there were sub-gods with the spiritual elevation of like 60s and 70s, and they still defected against Jehovah. They still defected. So I don't know what's going on in the spiritual sometimes. I mean, I'm thinking, man, you get that high of a spiritual elevation, what's going on? How can that happen? I mean, but then if you got gods, false gods who were once faithful and they fall, how is that? How can that be? Is my question. I mean, I would think after you reach at least 50%, you're home free. But evidently there's, I just don't know how it goes in the spiritual. It seems like, you still have to resist temptation. It don't just mean that there's no affliction of, I'm sitting here thinking, you get to a certain level and then you pretty much home free so far as your spiritual elevation, not having to deal with certain things anymore. So I know I'll get the answer to that sometime, if not even maybe even during the video. I'd like to know, how is it that these spiritual entities, how they can fall? How is that possible? I mean, I see pride where these angels defected, these lords and gods, they defected, they wanted their own thing. Creator gave it to them, and you were reading about the rise and fall of Ahura. So anyway, let's go on. Ahura's kingdom is declining, the AG has come, and so chapter 14 it says, Jehovah said, when AG comes near a dawn of Dan, meaning a time of enlightenment, let my Lewis be swift in duty, far-seeing in the races of men. Now the Lewis, remember, these are the ones that orchestrate the life of spiritual brethren, raise them up, that sort of thing. Creator says, my Lewis, let them be swift in duty, far-seeing the races of men. I not only break up the old foundations of temples and cities in those days, but the foundations of the abuse of the caste of men. So basically he's doing that right now. Creator is doing that right now. He's breaking down the foundations of temples and cities, meaning like churches. And you brethren, to stay away from religion. And in a sense, that's the Creator saying he's going to do away with temples and I believe he also calls them oracle houses, where the word goes out, spirituality goes out. He's saying, I'm gonna get rid of all that. And with the OAHSPE, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like he's telling us the old ways of doing things, the traditions and the ceremonies of the things that we have always known, religious things, learnings, doctrines, teachings. The Creator say he's doing away with that. We can't use that type of understanding no more. We're growing in the spirit. The time has come. We're in the cosmic era. He said that was going to be a time of enlightenment. That means the old things have to go. That's what he's saying here. He's going to destroy the foundation and the abusive caste of men. Now, when you Google caste of men, India is famous for having caste. A caste is like a section of people. You know, okay, you're rich, you're medium rich, you're middle class, you're low class, you're lower class. You know, and the top kingdom steps on the other kingdom. You know how it rolls downhill, like they say in the world. India is famous for having that type of system. In America, they have that type of system too, but it's not as obvious. Carmela Harris, she's what they call, she's at the top of her family belonged to the caste system where they were, I forget what the name of it, of the she was at the top, her family, and there's names for them. I forget what it is, but she was one of the rich people of. She was one of the privileged of India. They have a caste system over there. The Creator's saying he's going to do away with that system because it enslaves men. It manipulates men, and it has to go. Now, I think it's still there as of now, but you know what's coming. It says, my voice is upon the races of men. Today I say, preserve the caste of men. Marry thus and so. Everyone in their own line. For I perceive it is wisdom. Tomorrow I say, I will have no caste. For the races are becoming impoverished in blood. Marry here, marry there. And I give them age, and their desires break all bounds, and I raise them up giants and strong-limbed. But in those days, my Lewis shall fly swiftly. The Lewis, those who had charge of Thetis, brethren. My Lewis shall fly swiftly with great power, so that a seed may be preserved from me in my kingdoms. I do not come for one race only, but to all men. As by my spirit, I created them all alive. So likewise, my hand is over all them to all eternity. And when the shower of age is over and gone, I send my high-raised gods and goddesses to gather together my flocks and to proclaim them anew my wisdom and power. To proclaim them anew my wisdom and power. And those who have been selected and preserved by my Lewis are the foundations of my new order. It says, Ahura took advantage of the age of darkness to sow disbelief in Jehovah, which he broadcasts over the earth and heaven, and to gather in his harvest for the glory of his own kingdom. And when war, murder, and lust were thus reigning on earth, Ahura decreed to his lords, and they decreed to Ashars, and they decreed to mortals that all that was required of any man or woman was not celibacy nor carrying the alms bowl. It's like something that has to do with money for charity, or it says, nor any sacrifice at all, but that same prayers to Ahura Mazda and to his lords, and to wish them here with praise. I don't know what that means, and to wish them here with praise. He says, was sufficient for all situations, and that by doing so on the third day after death, they would ascend and dwell in Ahura's paradise. So he removes the saying that he's combating what Jehovah is saying about, he's trying to combat what Jehovah is doing to his kingdom. Having the Lewis, the spirits here to help the Ashars to raise up Thetis brethren. And Ahura is looking to circumvent that. He used it to sow disbelief in Jehovah and further establish his kingdom. So he had it out all over the earth to bring in his harvest. And when war, and so an AG fell, and then came war, murder, and lust. And Ahura decreed to his Ashars, and they decreed the morals that all was required of any, all that men had to do was basically pray. Praise Ahura, and everything would be okay. It says, however, this was not true. For Ahura's emissaries caught the newborn spirits and made slaves of them, commanding them to gather regiment and substance for the glory of Ahura's heavenly kingdoms. And so, Creator seems like he's saying that this is the way it is for religious people. Religious people, man. Deity worshippers, idolatry. Another example, Creator, he's trying to tell you, if you subscribe to Muslim, Mohammedanism, Buddhism, Hinduism, and I'm sure there are those who know better than to worship men. But I think that the Creator, he means that he is referring to the vast majority, of people who worship Catholicism. And Latins are real terrible at this, man. That cross of Jesus Christ. You ever seen that statue that's over Rio de Janeiro? That big statue of Jesus Christ. Latins, man, are, I think the Bible calls them silly doves. Like silly doves, man. The type of spirit they have. They just don't, it seems like their discernment is something wrong with it. They just subscribe to Catholicism, man, and like they don't be thinking. They're Catholics and ain't nobody going to do nothing about it, man. And here the Creator is saying that these spirits, they get a hold of you, man, and they make you a slave here and in the hereafter. I think we're going to cover even that as we go on. It says, in the 40th year before dawn, the voice of the Father came to God, saying, Moru is becoming uninhabitable. So evidently this is a place where it was okay for a little bit, but now it's starting to sink. I know Harati is a part of the lower heavens, just before Etheria, a higher raised heaven. So that's a place. These are places that were high up. He says, Harati shall be moved into the earth. Zeredho shall be no more. I forget what Zeredho is. I think it was the lower heaven. Do not go to Ahura with this prophecy. He has denied my voice. He will not hear. But I will take the foundations of Cetus. That's another name for Ahura. I will take the foundation of Cetus from under him, and it shall go down into the earth. But you, O God, my son, I think this is talking to, I think his name is Yima, Y-I-M-A, the God that he's talking to. He says, but you, O God, my son, I forewarn, for your kingdoms and your upraised sons and daughters shall be preserved through the darkness. Right? They shall become my brides and bridegrooms. I will prepare a place for them in great glory. It says, call the diva together. Now remember, the diva is the parliament. And I will speak before them, and my voice shall be proclaimed throughout all the heavens, except in the heavens of Ahura. So, Creator is going to neglect. He's not going to, he's not going to speak to Ahura's kingdom. He's going to keep it secret what he's going to do and who he is. The truth that Ahura is keeping from his people. It says, my voice shall be proclaimed throughout all these heavens, except in the heavens of Ahura, where my voice shall not be proclaimed. So God called the diva, the parliament, and they came and sat in the sacred circle, and the light like the sun gathered above God's head, saying, come up above, Harati, behold, I have broken up Meteorus. I have fashioned a new plateau in the firmament above. Meteors, meteorites. I have fashioned a new plateau in the firmament above, upon which all things are plentiful and heavenly, for heavenly kingdoms. Come with your gods and with your lords and gods, and I will show you. And when you have seen it, you shall possess the place and begin its inhabitation, making taking your host of billions. So all those who weren't under Ahura, didn't subscribe to him, weren't part of his kingdom, they're getting taken away now to another place. It says, when the light ceased speaking, it took wing and rose upward, and Div, the prime minister, and Diva, the parliament, rose also and followed after, and thus Jehovah led them to the plateau. Hence it was called Kreoshivi, signifying the light has chosen. It says, and God and his subgods possessed the place and laid the foundation for an habitation. And after he and his lords and gods returned and counseled and God and his subgods possessed the place and laid the foundation for an habitation. And after that, he and his lords and gods returned and counseled on the manner of removal. At this time, there were 4 billion faithists belonging to God's kingdoms, most wise and upright, full of purity and good works. But God and his lords and lord gods did not have sufficient power to remove so many angels, especially as many of them were still below grade 50. And so were inclined downward more than upward. So there it is, 50. If you're above 50, you're inclined to go upward, you're inclined to grow and elevate. If you're below the spiritual grade of 50, then you're inclined to go downward. And remember, your spiritual grade is based on good works. Basically, how you think and how you act towards others, that determines your spiritual grade. If half the time you're good to go, then it's all good. But if most of the time you're out there and you fighting and arguing and vexing people, and if you can look back during the day and see you did that more than half the day, you're a lower grade and you're going to decline. You're going to remain. You're not going to be ready for the second resurrection. You won't be able to deal with it. It says, and so if you're less than 50, you're inclined downward. You're inclined downward more than upward. So after due counsel, God decreed to build an Avalanza, some type of ship, capable of transporting 200,000 at a time, and to begin by removing the highest grades. God foresaw of his own wisdom that he should send to Vishnu and his lorddom and all sufficient force to protect the mortals of Venu, Japheth, and Arabenia, which were soon to be flooded by the host of Ahura, being cast down on the earth. He accordingly sent for Vishnu. When Vishnu was before the throne of God, the latter told him all the words that Jehovah had said in regard to Ahura and his kingdoms and their ultimate precipitation to the earth, and told him about the new plateau, Kreoshivi, where the light had conducted them, and he further commanded Vishnu to return to his own place, Maitreya's, and survey the dominions and estimate what force he would require in order to protect the mortals of those 3 earth divisions. So Ahura's kingdom is now, his heavenly kingdom, his spiritual kingdom is now getting cast down to earth. And so Jehovah is sending through his gods protectors for people on the earth who subscribe to the Creator only. It says, Vishnu replied, as to the latter part of your commandment, O God, I've already accomplished it. For I feared these things might come to pass, and I provided accordingly. The number I will require of and above grade 80 will be 600 million. So he's saying of the people left on the earth who are going to need protection from Ahura's angels, lords, and Ashars and Lewis, he's going to need at least 800 million to protect the people who are on the earth. He says, well, I must at least have one angel for every mortal. God answered him, saying, you shall have 800 million. And upon hearing this, Vishnu took leave and returned to his own place, Maitreya's. God immediately sent forth selectors with power, and they went into all the colleges and factories and other places of Jehovah's kingdoms and selected out 800 million angels required by Vishnu, and God sent them to Maitreya's as soon as possible. So now Ahura's kingdom is getting cast down. You read in Revelation where Jesus Christ, he said, I saw Satan's kingdom fall like lightning from heaven. So this is like equivalent in the sense that the spiritual is now being cast down to the earth. And they're going to start attacking, brethren. The Ahura is going to now start attacking the earth with his angels, with his lords, and to subjugate those who still can receive Jehovah. So it says, now of the 600, so basically the righteous guys, they go to the nearest college, they say, hey, we need 800 million people to come down and protect your brethren on the earth. Anybody want to go? And 800 million of them say, yeah, we'll go. We in the middle of finals in college anyway, so we'll go down there. And so it says, now of the 600 million angels taken to Maitreus, who had been subjects to sub-gods, besides 100 million that strayed off, becoming wonders with Jujas, Vishnu found 30 million above grade 50, and these he appropriated at once to work in concert with the sub-gods in building schools, colleges, and factories, all of the required places for the elevation of man. When he had thus established order, he called together the sub-gods and said to them, so the people, he's the Ahura's sub-gods who are now defecting, they get sent back up to the place in Atmospheria where they're going to, them and their subjects are now going to be re-educated, I guess you would say. The people who are under Ahura here on earth are being removed. So that they can be taught, they can be re-educated. They're being removed from the earth, and they're going to get taught all over again, but they won't be on the earth. And so it says, do not think I'm about to leave you on your own. I am not, but you are not mine to keep. Now this is Vishnu talking to the gods that he has asked to come, the angels he has asked to come to the earth to protect the mortals on earth. And here he says, do not think I'm about to leave you on your own. I am not, but you are not mine to keep, nor are your hosts mine. You asked for them in the first place, and Jehovah gave them to you. So he's talking to those who had defected, thinking that they were going to just turn their kingdom over to somebody else. Vishnu is talking to those who are defecting against Ahura. Okay, because they're leaving Ahura's kingdom. So before he leaves, he says, do not think I'm about to leave you on your own. I am not, but you are not mine to keep, nor are your hosts mine. You asked for them in the first place. Jehovah gave them to you. I have restored order. The time has now come for one of you the time has now come when one of you must be chief captain over all the rest, and he shall apportion the rest of you according to his highest light. Choose therefore your captain, and I will give him a judgment seat of office, and together you shall comprise a council, for I will make this a kingdom when the majority is past grade 50. So now he's telling the gods that are leaving, the gods that are their kingdom is fallen, he's organizing them in the spiritual, and he's just basically telling them that in the future they're going to be restored when the grade of the subjects have risen above 50. It says the sub-gods deliberated. It says the sub-gods deliberated for 8 days, but perceiving the responsibility of leadership, not one of them would accept the place. So they came before Vishnu saying, release us, we pray, and raise up another person, and he shall be our captain. They don't want to work. They don't want the responsibility. They didn't realize that they have to, as they have subjected these people, now you see that you got to restore them now. They don't want to do that now. They want somebody, they don't want the responsibility. So Vishnu said a certain man and woman, he's going to tell them a story now. He says a certain man and woman married, Vishnu said a certain man and woman married, they prayed to Jehovah for offspring. And he answered their prayer, and they had many children. And now, when they perceived their responsibility to the children, they said to the Great Spirit, we pray that you give the responsibility to some other persons. What do you think of them? In other words, no parent on earth would take their children, and because they, well, it does happen sometimes where they put children, put them up for adoption, but that is the exception, not the rule. You know what I mean? So that's why he's giving them this story here. He's saying, you don't know what you're asking. You asked for them, now you're responsible for them, and you don't want to be, but that's not the Creator. In other words, you have to take responsibility for these people that ended up defecting and being disillusioned. You have to take responsibility for that. So he says, now I say to you, Jehovah, he heard their first prayer, but not the second. The sub-gods, when they asked to leave Ahura's kingdom, Jehovah heard that, but their prayer to escape responsibility, Jehovah ain't going to listen to that. And so Vishnu goes on, he says, if I serve Jehovah, how then shall I answer your prayers and appoint another person in your place? It is a wise man who does not rush. It is a wise man who does not rush. It is a wise man who does not rush, not into leadership and responsibility, but he is a good man. Indeed, who having gotten in, says, now I will go ahead and show his wisdom and power with all my might. The gods who are above us come to such a man and help him. Go then once more to the council and appoint a chief captain. So he's telling the sub-gods who don't want responsibility to raise up the people that they help to make fall. He's saying that it's cool not to try to run to be a leader over people. That's wise. Don't try to make yourself above anybody. That part is wisdom. But if it falls on you, then, like my uncle used to say, when you do something, put your whole behind into it. Uncle Johnny used to say that, Chuck, to me. When you might not want to do it, but when it falls on you, put your whole behind into it. That's what they telling these gods here who didn't want the responsibility for the spiritual condition of their people. And Vishnu is saying, no, you asked for them, you got them, now you're responsible for them. And he says, for when you do it, man, just give it all you got and we'll help you. All right? We'll help you. And then it says, barely had Vishnu finished this saying when the sub-god perceived what was meant by the higher light. Now they got it, man. Service to other brethren. You have to minister to brethren, and now you're going to elevate. Because, see, they wanted the glory and honor. They didn't want to serve. It's just like America. You want the glory, but you don't want to work for it. You can't deal with it. It's too boring for you. It's monotonous. I read that before. I know what that means. No, man, every day same thing, man. Routine, boredom, and monotony. I can't. You're not ready for the second resurrection, man. We got to deal with this stuff and be consistent. A tree don't say, all right, I got these oranges, they good to go, and then the other day say, I'm getting tired of carrying these things, man. I'm going to just destroy them. See? You see what spirituality is? Do you brother see it? You see, we live in a country, man, that can't do without entertainment and distractions and fast food. And you see what it's done to us. It's conditioned us to be, we can't endure we don't got no patience, man. You see? That's what we got to fight against, man. So when they got a clue, they see that, hey, if I'm going to elevate, I got to serve those people I asked for. They changing their mind now. They get it. The light came on. It says, barely had Vishnu finished this saying. Remember the parable of, hey, you asked for them, you got them. And, it said, barely had Vishnu finished this saying when the sub-god perceived what was meant by the higher light. And the whole 60 held up their hands saying, I will serve you, O Jehovah. Give me whatever you will. See? Beautiful thing. See? They bucked up at first. They didn't want the responsibility of raising up brethren who they were responsible for their low spiritual grade. They wanted all the glory, all the honor. They saw it wasn't going to work. And he tells them through pure logic, man. Does a parent forsake their children? then it's the same for you. You ask for it, stand up, take responsibility. And they got it. They got it. They said, yeah, and we're going to put our whole behind into it, We didn't want the leadership, but now that you're putting it on us, then we're going to give it everything we got, knowing that you're going to help us. And so it says, with that, Vishnu commanded them to appoint one of the highest grade, which they did. And it fell upon Subga. And accordingly, Subga made captain-in-chief was Subga was made captain-in-chief of Matrix with rank 60 on the first list. So Subga gets raised up, chooses everybody who's above the rank of 60 to join him in the chief position. So Vishnu created a judgment seat for Subga and gave him a badge of office, and the other sub-gods were trade captains of divisions and numbered according to their assignment. None of them were humiliated before their former subjects, but became trainers and disciplinarians in new fields of labor, and their former subjects were no longer called subjects, but hosts. That's why, you read the Bible, it says, in the Lord of hosts, the Lord of hosts, the Lord of hosts. See, so the angels of the Bible, they know something. They knew a little bit about the OAHSPE. That's why they set up their kingdom the way they did. Gods of the Bible, they got their kingdoms from the OAHSPE. It says, but they were liberated in all things, except with no liberty to return to mortals. Talking about those who are going to, the gods who defected with their new kingdom now, they were going to restore their brethren. The only thing is that those who were their brethren, their subjects, would not be allowed to return to earth, because they wanted to return to earth, hang out, relax under AG, the times of darkness. They wanted to hang out with mortals, and the Vishnu said, no, you can't do that. You can't do that no more right now. It says, so Vishnu no more had these matters settled. When the new host, the 800 million, those who came from the colleges and the heavenly, volunteering for duty to help raise up the kingdom of Ahura, who had his kingdom that had fallen down. It says the new host, 800 million, came as the guard and shields of mortals. Vishnu organized them, making Matrix the central throne over them, and he divided them into companies of 1 million and gave to each company one marshal, 1,000 messengers, and the marshals again subdivided their host into thousands and numbered them. To each 1,000 he gave one master, and with his quota of messengers. So the organization of the restoring of Ahura's kingdom is going on right now. It says, next, Vishnu divided to 3 great countries, India, China, and Africa, and into as many parts that he had appointed marshals, and the lands were mapped out, showing cities, towns, and country places. And each marshal was assigned this place, and the record of these things was made, including the maps, the divisions, and the names of the marshals and masters, and it was registered in the libraries of heaven. So Vishnu's hosts were sent to their places and commanded to give daily reports of their labors, which were to be carried out by the messengers to Vishnu. So the restoration process, to summarize, made him think there. That will conclude the reading of his word. So to summarize, we have the rebellion is taking place. The sub-gods want to defect. They go to the Faithists, the brethren in Etheria. They say, man, we made a mistake. Ahura, he convinced us to leave. Now we down here on the earth. We see that he deceived us. He promised us a kingdom, honor, and glory. We see he can't do it. And he's saying to us that there is no higher heaven than the one that he has. And they tell him, but we don't want to be a part of your kingdom anymore, because you can't raise us higher than yourself. And then Ahura basically tells them to take it or leave it. And so the Creator, so Jehovah, he sends righteous gods, lords, and angels to resurrect the kingdom, the sub-gods who wanted to defect, who now they want to defect from Ahura. So now the setup, the structure has been set up, and the restoration of Ahura's kingdom is going to now begin to take place on the earth. And now they're going to move to Ahura. Now they're going to move to him. Now it's his turn. Now it's his turn now to be restored. So that will conclude the reading of this word. I'm going to pick this up on Monday, Heavenly Father willing. So the Creator, and really, it's a picture. This is a story that don't get old, man. It don't get old. It's like these stories are really contemporary, and he's just showing you the heart of man. He wants glory. He wants honor. He wants to be elevated. He wants to be famous. It's his heart, man. He just has that much vanity in his heart. And I perceive that as we read the OAHSPE, it's going to talk to us about the Hebrew tetrarchs. I kind of get that feeling now. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. OAHSPE, a good portion of it is going to show us the tetrarchs. The evil vibrations, the lust, the vanity, the wanting to be bad, getting a kick out of it, and wanting to lead over the other evil vibrations. And I think I can see right now the Creator, he's going to use the OAHSPE to show us what our life is, the things we struggle with, what other people struggle with. I think if we can learn that lesson, man, now we free to just stay on the road. The Creator is showing you what's out there. He's showing you the world. So don't think that you're missing a big party in LA. Everybody's getting a kick, and the Creator, he's just showing you what reality is like for everybody. It seems like I can see the pattern now. He's showing you what the reality, So don't think you don't have to think that, you know what I mean, that you're missing out. And we live in a world like that where it's like, man, people don't want to be. They feel like they want to get it while the getting's good, and they have the opportunity, And it seems like the Creator is telling you faith to say, look, this is all there is, and there ain't no more, man. This is all there is. Yeah, if he bless you to have nice things, that's cool. That's all right. He doesn't say you can't have luxury. As long as you use it righteously, you got the right mindset for it. He doesn't forbid you. The problem is that, remember what we read the other day? And if anybody wants to come in the room, I don't think I even put the StreamYard link in. But I'll put it in now. Maybe, one of you may want to come in and share a word or anything. It's up to you. I'm going to keep going here for about a couple minutes, and then I'm going to close it down. But remember we read the other day. You remember we read the other day about the beautiful woman, your what is it? Your soulmate, your spiritual mate. We each got one. What is it called? Your spiritual half, your upper half. We each got an upper half. We each got a upper half. Remember that, brethren. You got an upper half. So that's why Jesus Christ said in Revelation, he says, see to it that no man, Revelation 2:11, remember? He says, see to it that no man takes your crown. You see? See to it. That's what he means, man. Because our thoughts, when you tell me that I have a chance to create the woman of my dreams, that's all you got to tell me. You know what I'm saying? That's all you got to tell Yahweh. That's all you got. I'll work my whole life for one. I'll work, man. I know. It sounds vain. Boy, I tell you, man, I would give my kingdom for a heart of gold. Remember that song? Keep me searching for a heart of gold. Man, if you tell me that I have the opportunity to shape my woman, mentally, physically, and spiritually, you got me. I'm sold, man. You got me. Now, I know it sounds crazy what I'm saying, but I can prove that that's the case. I can prove it. Remember when Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel? And then his uncle deceived him and said, oh man, no, you didn't work for Rachel. You worked for Leah. Well, he didn't want Leah. Now you can see the little story behind that. See? Remember? He wanted Rachel. And then when his 7 years was up, he said, give me my wife. And he said, who was it? His uncle? Who was his uncle? Somebody told me the name of his uncle. What's his name? Who was it that dealt with Jacob, deceived him? What was his uncle's name? I'll probably beat y'all to it if anybody can remember. Let me see. Ace and F probably get it before me if she here. Now, what was his name? His uncle's name? Who was the guy that deceived Jacob into marrying both of his daughters? What is his name? Anybody in the chat. Anybody. What's his name? I gotta cheat and go to the internet. If you beat me to it, I'll give you a gold star. But let me see. What's his name? Who was Laban? I didn't even have to look, and I beat y'all to it. Laban. Who was Jacob's uncle that deceived him? Laban. He tricked him, remember? So, same for us. I mean, not that we're being tricked, but we're working for our bride. You can work for your soul. What do we call it in the world? Your spiritual half. Anyway, we can work for our spiritual half. Now, it's spiritual. You got to have the ability to believe it, but I believe it. So, I'm willing to work for my spiritual half. I imagine that I can make her the most beautiful to me that is ever. I mean, I think that we all dream of somebody, you know what I mean, who you would just, man, they just know you love them with, I mean, you know what I mean, a woman or man after all your dreams. And the Creator says your thoughts make up that person you thinking of in your brain. You are making up that person. So if you're acting ugly one day, then just get a picture of, matter of fact, just get a picture of some elephant over there in the Serengeti and just put it on your wall and say, yep, that's who I'm getting ready to marry that day. That's my bride. Hey, bro, who's that on your wall? That's my bride. But, bro, that's an elephant. See? Because your thoughts are determining your bride. You know what I'm saying? So, the spirit, it sounds kooky, but the Creator said it's, that's really the way it is. We are the ones that decide what our spirituality is. That's the beauty of this whole thing. So, brethren, thank you for joining me. Pray that the Creator bless you. Peace, love, light, and wisdom. I want to thank Heavenly Father and Mother for giving me this opportunity to try to be a light while I'm in this reality. Brethren, no videos on the weekend. And until I see you again Monday, Creator willing, peace be unto you. Shalom.